Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 126 in the Gospel of John. Today, let's think about what's the problem with Peter defending Jesus. When they came to arrest him, Peter defends Jesus. There's a problem with it. Let's think about that. This is from John chapter 18. The arrest party has arrived. I'm going to start in verse 6. And when Jesus said to them, "I am he," they drew back and fell to the ground. So he asked them again, "Whom do you seek?" And they said, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus answered, "I told you that I am he. So if you seek me, let these men go." This was to fulfill the word that he had spoken. "Of those whom you gave me, I have lost not one." Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. So Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword into its sheath. Shall I not drink the cup that the Father has given me?" So first, we're going to talk about three things. Passion is number one, and then we're going to talk about protection, and then we're going to talk about purpose. Let's talk about passion first. First of all is fighting for Jesus. Peter fights for Jesus. So he's been warned previously that before breakfast, before the rooster crows, he's going to deny the Lord 3 times. And I wonder how much that was ringing in his ears. That was just a couple of hours ago that Jesus gave this prediction prophecy over him. So Peter actually does, in this instance, lay down his life here in this crowd of trained soldiers that have come with torches and weapons. And at this moment, Peter does what he said he would do. So far, so good for Peter, it's in a sense. Well, here's the scenario how it happens in Luke. Luke 22, verse 49 says, "And when those who were around him saw what would follow, they said, 'Lord, shall we strike with the sword?'" So some of the disciples questioned Jesus, "Should we strike with the sword?" Well, before he has time to answer, verse 50, "And one of them struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear." And then here, verse 51, "But Jesus said, 'No more of this.' And he touched his ear and healed him." So why do you hit someone's ear with a sword? Well, because you're trying to take their head off or their neck, make a neck wound. So this is a serious attack. It's a serious event. And it's stopped by Jesus' words, "No more." So we must ask, what is Malchus, the high priest servant, doing here at this arrest? Well, my guess is that the high priest was also there. And the wonderful part here is that Jesus does a miracle at the moment of his arrest. And he has one more last signs that defies the world's natural process. And each of these signs that Jesus has done offer a chance for those who see it to believe. So at the moment of Jesus' rest, at the moment that he's going to be harmed by humanity, he actually helps humanity. So yesterday we saw that he reveals his glory to the point that the whole arresting party drew back and fell to the ground. And today we see him heal an ear, which is to say, up in this natural process in an instant and giving pause. And theoretically, to all who see it, gives them an opportunity for belief. Now, we don't hear of any coming to belief because of this falling, but perhaps they do. Okay, so the first thing is passion. The second thing here is the protection. Jesus says, "Of those whom you gave me, I have lost no one." Now, it's true for the disciples, and it's true for us now, too, today. So we have this protection from arrest, which Jesus does for the disciples, results in none of them being lost. So the Lord loses not one. So this security in Christ we have to address. The faithfulness until his end, here which promises faithfulness until our end. So Jesus has not fallen off his throne. The next time something difficult comes down the pike for you, maybe you won't be tempted beyond your ability to endure or escape. And remember, he lives to intercede. He lives to advocate for us. And that's in Hebrews 7 and 1 John 2. So Jesus didn't lose one when he was alive, and he won't lose one now. So this is something we should remember: Peter's passion and then the protection of Christ. All right, the final thing I want to talk about today is purpose. Jesus is on purpose. So what's the problem with Peter defending Jesus and preventing this arrest, preventing the trials, preventing the suffering, preventing the crucifixion and the substitution? If Peter was successful, none of that would have happened. So Jesus has to offer himself. He's planned it long ago. In Matthew 20, when they were not even in Jerusalem, he said, as they were going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside. On the way, he said to them, see, we're going to Jerusalem. The Son of Man is going to be delivered to the high priest, chief priests and scribes. They'll condemn him to death. They'll deliver him over to the Gentiles to be mocked and flogged and crucified, and he will be raised on the third day. So Jesus knew this was going to happen long ago. He wasn't ambushed or surprised or captured against his will. In John 10:17, he says, I lay down my life that I may take it up again. No one takes it from me. I lay it down of my own accord. So I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. So this charge I have received from my Father. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jesus' hour. He's waited and prepared for this his whole life. The rescue mission that was started in the garden. Now, which garden? Not the Garden of Gethsemane. This is the Garden of Eden I'm talking about. Now this rescue mission is finally coming to its fruition, its conclusion. Jesus must be arrested, must be sacrificed. And here's the truth. No arrest, no sacrifice, no substitution. Without this horrible event, you, dear listener, and me, would be bearing 100% of the consequences of our sin. So as we approach Easter, we need for Jesus to get arrested. It's kind of mind-blowing. You need this horrible process to get starting. I know it sounds ridiculous to say, but one needs to be grateful for the arrest of Jesus and the failure of Peter to stop the arrest with his sword. Jesus must drink this cup, as he says, and he must drink it for you, must drink it for me. So today we see Jesus staying on purpose. And that, in fact, is one of the things that facilitates his protection now, which is another thing he gives us. So today, Peter's passion, Jesus' protection, and then my favorite is Jesus staying on purpose. Thanks for listening.